Greetings to you from Muskoka Bible Center. This is John Friesen with our monthly Builders Update. And it's my great privilege to share with you some of the things that God is doing in and through MBC in line with our mission of growing resilient, biblically rooted families. If you're at all my age, you might remember the original A-Team series and the lead character, John Hannibal Smith. I have to confess, this was actually one of my favorite shows when I was growing up. But I actually learned a lot things that I still apply from the lead character, John Hannibal Smith. And he was known for many little idioms, but perhaps his most known idiom was the plan. He was known for putting together these extravagant plans that were very chaotic, but always seemed to come together at the end. And then at the very end, he would be standing there with his cigar firmly clenched between his teeth, and he would say, "Oh, I love it when a plan comes together." I'm not a very good imitator of John Hannibal Smith, but the sentiment is there. Fast forward that to today, and I just want to share with you that our team at MBC had this great privilege this past week as we were reviewing the month of March. We had this opportunity to say the same thing. We love it when a plan comes together. We know that God always accomplishes his purposes and his plans, and as we make ourselves available to that, he will do amazing things for his glory and his honor. And so this past March, we were able to host 2 different Family Fusion Escape weekends. These are low structure, low programmed weekends designed to bring the family together for a getaway away from screen times and really just being together. We added some program elements and some things that families could do together. And then we had a Sunday morning chapel. David and Sheila Raymer were the hosts for this weekend, and they did an amazing job. And I had the opportunity to share in chapel session with these families. And so we have basically several objectives in our mission to grow resilient families, but one of them is to see parents get excited and better equipped to be the primary disciple makers within their home and of their children. I think that sometimes we have in the past abdicated some of this responsibility to the church, where we kind of said, well, that's why we hire the pastor, or have a youth pastor, a children's program. And yet I think we need to get back to parents seeing ourselves as the primary disciple makers of our children. And so we're excited about that. So Sunday morning, for each of these retreats, we did something very different. Rather than preach a sermon at them, we had the families sitting around tables, and they engaged in, it was almost like a very in-depth family devotional time. And so we went through the Psalm 77, and so the families, the first 10 verses, dads or moms would read the verses, and then they would write out their lament. These first 10 verses are about our complaints before God. Where has God gone? Expressing the pain we might be going through. And so they would write those out as a family. What are they feeling as a family? What are their complaints, even in the middle of COVID right now? And then the next couple of verses are about changing our posture and looking up and seeing God for who he is, that he still sits on the throne, that he is still sovereign, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving. And so we wrote out the names of God, and we also wrote some descriptions of God as we read about in the Bible. And then the last several verses are about the activities of God. We have a God who does. He is an active God, and he's done things for humanity. He's done things for us as individuals. And so the families would write these down, and they would remember what God has done, not only for humanity, but specifically for them as a family and for them as individuals. And so this was really a fruition, a great experience of seeing our plans come together and seeing parents disciple their children right in front of our very eyes in our chapel. That was a beautiful thing to see, and again, we love it when a plan comes together. And if that wasn't enough, one of the things with ministering to families is families come in all shapes and sizes, and they have different hurts and different things that they've been through, and some challenges that make it very difficult sometimes for them to be resilient. And after the last weekend was over in March, we received a letter, a little commentary from one of the mothers who brought her 2 children. And I'm going to read that to you, and I'm sure it'll be an encouragement to you, even as it was to our team. So listen carefully and be encouraged by how God was active in the middle of our family retreat with this family. It was way better than expected, she said. We've been hearing about Family Fusion, but we're never interested in participating because our family had a huge loss. We lost my husband, my kid's father, unexpectedly a few years ago. I thought for me to bring my kids to Family Fusion would trigger thoughts of them missing their dad more, given that other kids were there with their mom and dad. Thankfully, other dads were kind enough to include my kids in the soccer games outside the chapel on Saturday, and also Sheila's husband played the huge Connect the Dot game with my son on Saturday afternoon. That was just really nice and meaningful to my son, and he still talks about it. John's teaching on Sunday about focusing on God's goodness, nature, character, remembering what God has done for us in the past, and telling our children stories of God's goodness. That the kids will not forget. It was really excellent. The food was amazing, the staff professional friendly. God bless you all. See you in the summer. What an encouragement this is to our team, to you, that families, regardless of their situation, can come away and be loved by God, but also by his people. To see the other dads come around these children and be that role, that father figure to them, even for a short period, is an encouragement to a mom. And so we thank God for the way these plans came together and brought him glory, and our mission was accomplished. And so again, we thank you for being supporters of MBC, for praying for us, for volunteering, for coming as guests, but also for giving financially. And if you want to give financially, you can do that. Again, our ministry is funded. The cost of the ministry itself is funded through donations. You can go online at our MuskokaBibleFoundation.com website, or you can use the app, or you can call and speak to one of our amazing office team members. Our phone number is 705-789-0123. Again, a big thank you. The other thing I just want to add before I close, we'll be making some decisions and communicating them regarding our summer family programming, some of the details regarding kids ministry, and also our Camp Ojibwe experiences. And so stay tuned to our Facebook, and also if you get any emails from us in the next few weeks, take the time to read them and pray with us as we make some of these decisions and communicate the impact of those decisions to our constituency and to the families who are expecting to come away and be blessed at MBC this spring and summer. Again, thank you. Have a great rest of the week and a great weekend. God bless.